Listen to me carefully, because what you are about to hear today may completely change the way you see your own life. You can wake up earlier than everyone else. You can work until your body can barely keep going. You can pour your soul into chasing your goals. But if God is not at the center, sooner or later everything falls apart. And maybe right now this is exactly what you're living. You keep trying, you keep fighting, you refuse to give up. And still, it feels like nothing moves forward, as if something invisible is stopping every step you take. Let me tell you the story of Andrew, because without even realizing it, you may see yourself in him. That night, Andrew came home with an empty look in his eyes. The door closed behind him with a dull thud. He took off his jacket, dropped his briefcase on the floor, and stood still in the middle of the living room. Silence. A silence heavier than any noise. On the table, there was a letter. He recognized the handwriting immediately. It was his wife's. He opened it with tired hands. "Andrew, I no longer recognize you. This house has food, furniture, and money, but it lost its peace a long time ago." Andrew swallowed hard. He kept reading. "The children ask about you, and I no longer know what to say. You say all this effort is for us, but every day you are farther away." It hit him straight in the chest. It was not the first time he had heard something like this. But that night, the words hurt differently, because deep down, he knew they were true. He had spent years building his company, sleepless nights, weekends without family, Sundays far from God, always telling himself the same thing: when everything is stable, I'll come back to the Lord. But that moment never came. The phone rang. "Unknown number," he answered. The voice on the other side was cold. "Mr. Andrew, we regret to inform you that the agreement has been canceled." His heart stopped. "What do you mean canceled?" "The main investor has withdrawn. The project is suspended." Silence. Only silence. That meant ruin. Years of work. Years of sacrifice. Years of effort. Gone in 1 second. Andrew slowly let the phone fall. He sat down on the couch and stared at the ceiling. This can't be happening. Not after everything I've done. And then, as if an old voice had awakened inside him, he remembered his mother telling him when he was a child, "Son, without God there is nothing, no matter how hard you try." That sentence came back with brutal force, because now it no longer sounded like advice. It sounded like truth. He looked toward the shelf. There was a Bible covered in dust. He had not touched it in years. He slowly stood up, took it in his hands, and opened it almost by instinct. His eyes landed directly on an underlined verse. "Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain." Psalm 127:1. In vain. That word pierced him, because he suddenly understood something that maybe you also need to hear today. It was not that he had not worked hard enough. It was that he had tried to build without God. He had raised walls, but no foundation. He had chased success, but not purpose. He had filled his schedule while emptying his soul. And just as the tears began to fall, he heard 3 knocks at the door. Slow, firm. At that hour, Andrew frowned. He was not expecting anyone. He walked closer, placed his hand on the doorknob, opened it, and when he saw who was standing outside, his breath caught. It was an old man holding an old photograph of his late father. And the first thing he said was, "Your father asked me to come tonight." Andrew stood frozen in the doorway. The rain was falling behind the old man like a dark curtain, and yet he did not seem wet, as if he had walked there under a protection no one could see. In his hand, he still held the photograph. It was impossible to mistake. His father was there, smiling, wearing the same white shirt he had on the day he died. Andrew swallowed hard. "Who are you?" The old man lifted his eyes with a calmness that was almost unsettling. Someone who made a promise many years ago. Without waiting for permission, he extended the photo toward him. On the back there was a sentence written by hand. Andrew recognized his father's handwriting immediately. When you feel like everything is falling apart, do not run to the world, run to God. His heart pounded hard in his chest. Those words took him straight back to his childhood. He remembered his father kneeling beside the bed. He remembered the prayers before sleep. He remembered the peace that had disappeared from his life a long time ago. "Come in," Andrew finally said. The old man stepped inside slowly. His footsteps echoed through the silent living room. He looked at Andrew as if he already knew everything he was going through. "You are tired, aren't you?" Andrew let out a bitter laugh. "You have no idea." The man gently shook his head. "Yes, I do. The body's exhaustion shows in the eyes, but the soul's exhaustion is heard in the voice." Those words disarmed him. For the first time in a long while, he felt like speaking honestly. "I've lost everything," he said quietly. "My business is collapsing, my family is drifting away, and I don't know what else to do." The old man watched him in silence for a few seconds. "You have done a lot, but you have not done it with God." Again that sentence. Again the same wound. Andrew clenched his fists. "I fought harder than anyone." "I do not doubt that," the man replied. "But fighting without the Lord's direction is like rowing against the current all night and arriving at dawn in the exact same place." Andrew lowered his gaze. He felt every word describing him. The old man pulled a small Bible from the inside pocket of his coat. He opened it and read in a firm voice, "For apart from me you can do nothing." John 15:5. Nothing. The word hung in the room. Nothing. Not a little. Not almost nothing. Nothing. Andrew leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees, covering his face with his hands. "So, all this time I've been building in emptiness?" The man leaned slightly closer. "You have been building, yes, but on sand. And when storms come, whatever has no foundation eventually falls." The rain hit the window harder, as if the sky itself was confirming every word. The old man looked toward the shelf, where the Bible still lay open. "Your father knew this day would come." Andrew lifted his head sharply. "How can you know so much about him?" The man reached into his pocket and took out an old key. He placed it on the table. "Before he died, he asked me to give you this when you reached your breaking point." Andrew stared at it, confused. "What does it open?" The old man held his gaze. "The room that has been locked for years in your father's house." A chill ran down Andrew's spine. The old family house had been abandoned since his father's death. No one had gone back inside. "Why now?" The man gave a slight smile. "Because tonight you did not lose your business. Tonight God began to break your pride." Silence. Deep. Uncomfortable. True. And before getting up to leave, the old man said something that left Andrew breathless. "What you find there will not only change your life, it will answer the question you have been avoiding for years." Andrew stared at him. "What question?" The old man opened the door and before stepping out turned one last time. "Why God allowed everything to collapse right now." The door closed. Andrew was left alone, with the key on the table, with his soul trembling, and with a strange feeling he could not ignore. That night was only the beginning. Andrew did not sleep. The key remained on the table all night, as if it were watching him. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard the old man's voice. "God has begun to break your pride." Those words hurt, because deep down he knew they were true. For years he had confused faith with self-sufficiency. He said he believed in God, but in reality, he had placed his trust in his own ability, his intelligence, and his relentless effort. And now, with everything seemingly falling apart, for the first time he was asking the right question. "Lord, what are you trying to show me?" At dawn he grabbed his car keys and drove to his father's old house. The road was nearly empty. The gray sky seemed to mirror the weight he carried inside. When he arrived, he stood there for a few seconds, staring at the front of the house. The faded paint, the rusted gate, the shut windows, everything looked exactly the same, as if time had stopped there. He opened the front door. The smell of old wood and memories hit him immediately. He stepped inside slowly. Each footstep stirred small clouds of dust. The house was silent, but it did not feel empty. There was something there, something he could not explain. He walked upstairs toward his father's study. The door was locked. He looked at the old key. Slowly, he slid it into the lock, turned it. Click. The door opened. Andrew held his breath. The room was untouched. The desk, the lamp, the old Bible left open, and on the table, an envelope with his name written on it. For Andrew. A lump rose in his throat. He stepped closer and opened it. Inside was a letter. His father's handwriting was unmistakable. Son, if you are reading this, life has already taught you what I tried to explain to you many times. Andrew's eyes began to fill with tears. I know you are hardworking. You always were. But never forget this. Effort without God turns into slavery of the soul. He stood completely still. Every word seemed to enter directly into his chest. You were not created only to produce. You were created to live with purpose. Andrew lowered his head. How long had he been living like a machine, producing, running, accumulating, but inside becoming emptier every day? He kept reading. There are doors that God closes not to destroy you, but to lead you to the place where you truly belong. Then something slipped out of the envelope. A small photograph. It was him as a child sitting beside his father in church, both of them smiling. On the back was a verse. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Proverbs 3-6. Andrew closed his eyes. For the first time in years, he felt the urge to cry without holding back. And he did. He cried for the business, for his family, for all the lost time, for how far he had drifted from God. But when he finally lifted his eyes, he saw something else on the desk. A black notebook, old, with a phrase written on the cover. 30 days to renew your faith. His heart skipped a beat. He opened it slowly. On the first page, his father had written, a Christian devotional to find peace in God. He ran his hand across the cover. This was not just a notebook, it was a path, a return, a chance to rebuild from within. And then, between the pages, he found a folded note. It had only one sentence, a sentence that made him go completely still. Your wife knows something she has not yet told you. Andrew stared at the note in his hands. He read it once, then again, and a third time. Your wife knows something she has not yet told you. He felt his heart begin to beat faster. What could that possibly mean? For a few seconds he looked around the room in silence, almost as if he expected the walls to answer him, but they did not. Only the sound of his own breathing filled the space. He looked back down at the devotional. He turned the first page. There on the opening page, his father had written a reflection. There are truths God does not reveal until your heart is ready to receive them. Andrew swallowed hard. Everything seemed to be speaking directly to him, as if God had been waiting for this exact moment to stop him. He carefully closed the notebook, took the letter, and left the house. During the drive back, one question kept chasing him. What does Clara know? Clara, his wife, the woman who had spent years asking him for time, presence, and peace. The same woman who had left the night before with the children. When he arrived at his mother-in-law's house, he stayed inside the car for a few seconds. He had no idea what he was about to hear, but he knew he could not keep running. He knocked on the door. Clara opened it. The moment she saw him, her expression changed. It was not anger. It was exhaustion, the kind that settles deep into the soul. Andrew. He looked at her silently for a few seconds. For the first time, he had not come to argue. He had not come to justify himself. He had come to listen. I need to talk to you. Clara hesitated, but finally stepped aside. He walked in. The children were in the living room playing. The younger one ran toward him. Daddy. That broke something inside him. It had been days since he had hugged him. He knelt down and held him tightly. A sharp pain hit his chest. How much had he missed by chasing things that no longer even mattered? Clara led him into the kitchen. She looked at him directly. "What is it?" Andrew pulled the note from his pocket. "I found this in my father's study." She read it, and instantly her face changed. She went pale. Andrew noticed immediately. "Clara, what do you know?" She fell silent, looked toward the window. Her eyes began to fill with tears. 2 weeks ago I went to the doctor. Andrew felt a knot tighten in his stomach. And Clara took a deep breath. "I'm pregnant." The world stopped. Andrew stared at her, unable to react. "What?" "I was going to tell you," she said with a trembling voice, "but you were never there. Always busy, always far away, always saying we'd talk later." Those words pierced him, because they were true. He had been physically in the house, but completely absent. Clara lowered her eyes. "And there's something else." The silence grew heavy. "The pregnancy is high risk." Andrew felt his legs weaken. "Since when have you known?" "For 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 14 days. 14 days in which he had been running after contracts while his wife had been carrying fear, anxiety, and silence all by herself. He raised his hand to his face. "My God." Clara looked straight at him. "Andrew, I don't need more money. I don't need more promises. I need you to come back." That sentence hit harder than any blow, because he understood that he was not only losing a business, he could lose his family, his child, his wife. And then he remembered the verse he had read that morning. "In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths." Proverbs 3-6. For the first time in years, Andrew took Clara's hand. "I don't know how I drifted so far from God, or from all of you." Tears began to fall. "But I don't want to keep living like this." Clara looked at him in silence, and at that exact moment, his phone buzzed. A text message. Unknown number. It contained only one sentence. "Tonight at 11, God will show you why he allowed your fall." Andrew stood there staring at the screen. The message remained glowing in his hands. "Tonight at 11, God will show you why he allowed your fall." Clara looked up at him. "Who is it?" He slowly shook his head. "I don't know." But deep down he felt this was no coincidence. Nothing that had happened since the night before felt like coincidence anymore. His father's letter, the devotional, the pregnancy, the bank's call, the collapse of the project. Everything was beginning to fit together like pieces of something far bigger than he had imagined. He spent the rest of the day beside Clara. For the first time in a long while, he did not check his phone for emails or contracts. He stayed there, present, listening to her, holding her hand, and without even realizing it, he began to feel something his heart had not known in years. Peace. Not perfect peace, not complete peace, but a small light in the middle of the chaos. At 10:30 that night, Clara looked at him with concern. "Are you going?" He remained silent for a few seconds. "Yes, what if it's a trap?" He took a deep breath. "I feel like I'm not supposed to ignore this." Clara watched him. For the first time in a long time, she saw something different in him. He was no longer the constantly distracted, emotionally absent man he had become. There was something broken yet sincere in his eyes. "Then be careful," she said softly. Andrew nodded. He left the house and drove in silence. The message included an address, the old church in the neighborhood, the same one his father used to take him to as a child. When he arrived, the car clock read 10:58. The place was completely dark. Only the cross on top of the tower stood out against the night sky. He got out of the car. The night air was cold. He walked toward the main entrance. It was open. That made his heart race. He stepped inside. Everything was dimly lit. Only a few candles were burning near the altar. And in the center, standing there, was a figure, an older man, with his back turned. Andrew took a few steps forward. The man slowly turned around, and the moment Andrew saw him, his chest tightened. It was the old man from the other night, the same one who had handed him the photograph. "I knew you would come," he said calmly. "Who are you?" Andrew asked, this time with a firmer voice. "Why do you know so much about my life?" The old man looked straight into his eyes. "Because your father and I prayed for this moment for years." Andrew froze. "What?" The man stepped closer. "Your father knew that one day you would lose yourself in the noise of the world. He knew you would trust your own effort more than the voice of God." Silence. "But he also knew that the Lord would bring you back." Andrew swallowed hard. Why now? Why let everything collapse? The old man lifted the Bible he was carrying. He opened it and read in a firm voice, "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God." Romans 8:28. Then he slowly closed the book. "Because there were things in your life that could only be broken on the outside to heal what was broken on the inside." That sentence left him completely still. Yes, he had already been broken inside. Long before the business collapsed. Long before the bank called. Long before Clara's message. The old man looked deeply at him. "You did not lose a company. You lost the illusion of control. And that was necessary." Andrew felt tears filling his eyes. "So, all of this had to happen?" The man answered without hesitation. "Not everything is caused by God, but He knows how to use even your fall to save you." Silence. The church itself seemed to hold its breath. Then the old man said something that made Andrew go completely still. "Your child will not be born if you continue walking away from God." His heart stopped. "What did you just say?" The man held his gaze. "The decision you make tomorrow will change the destiny of your family." Andrew felt the blood drain from his face. "My child won't be born?" The sentence hung in the air like a blow. The old man did not look away. "I am not speaking about a written destiny. I am speaking about consequences. There are decisions that open doors, and others that close them." Andrew swallowed hard. "I don't understand." The man pointed toward one of the church pews. "Sit down." Andrew obeyed. The cold wood beneath his hands made everything feel painfully real. The old man sat in front of him and spoke with the voice of someone who had been waiting a long time for this moment. "Tomorrow morning they will call you with an offer to recover your business." Andrew's heart began to race. "How do you know that?" "Listen first." He paused. "They will promise you more money than you have ever had. They will tell you it is the opportunity to rebuild everything again." Andrew stared at him without blinking, because even though it had not happened yet, something inside him knew it was true. "But that offer will come at the exact same time as Clara's medical appointment." Silence. "And that is where you will have to choose." Andrew felt his throat tighten. The old man continued, "For years you have chosen work before God, before your family, before peace. Tomorrow heaven will place you in front of the same door, to see whether you have truly understood the lesson." Those words struck his chest, because that was exactly the root of the problem. It had never been only about money. It was about what he had placed above everything else. His effort, his ego, his need for control. The old man opened the Bible and read, "But seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you." Matthew 6:33. Andrew lowered his head. First. That word pierced him, because for years he had placed God last. When there was time left, when there were no meetings, when exhaustion allowed it, always later, never first. "And what if I make the wrong choice again?" he asked with a broken voice. The old man looked at him with compassion. "Then life will continue teaching you until you understand that without God there is nothing, no matter how hard you try." That sentence fell once more with all its weight. Andrew felt a knot tighten in his chest. For the first time, he understood that the problem had never been a lack of work. It was the absence of spiritual direction. He had run so much, but toward the wrong place. A deep silence settled, only the faint sound of the candles burning. Then the old man reached inside his coat and pulled out a small folded piece of paper. "Your father asked me to give you this only if you made it this far." Andrew took it with trembling hands. He opened it. It was a prayer written by his father. "Son, if one day you feel that everything is slipping out of your hands, remember this: God is not taking things from you. He is repositioning you." Andrew could not hold back the tears, because suddenly everything began to make sense. The fall, the crisis, the distance from his family. This was not the end. It was a call, a shaking, a chance to return. And at that exact moment, his phone rang. He looked at the screen. It was Clara. He answered immediately. "Clara, what's wrong?" On the other side, he could hear her breathing heavily. "Andrew, you need to come right now." His heart started pounding. "What happened?" Clara's voice broke. "I'm bleeding." Andrew felt the ground disappear beneath his feet. "Clara, look at me, listen to my voice. I'm coming right now, don't move. Are you with your mother?" On the other side, all he could hear was her broken breathing. "Yes, but Andrew, I'm scared." Those words pierced his soul. Fear. The same fear he had been planting in his home for years with his absence. He jumped up from the pew. The old man looked at him intently. "This is the moment." Andrew frowned. "What moment?" "The moment to decide who truly holds first place in your life." There were no more words. He ran out of the church. The night felt darker than ever. He got into the car and started driving with his heart pounding in his chest. As he drove, he was no longer thinking about money. He was no longer thinking about the company. He was no longer thinking about pending calls. He kept repeating one sentence over and over. "Lord, don't take them from me. Please don't take them from me." It was the first sincere prayer he had made in years. Not an automatic prayer, not a routine, a cry, a plea rising from the deepest part of his soul. When he arrived at the hospital, he found Clara in the emergency room with her mother. Her face was pale. Her eyes were full of tears. Andrew rushed toward her and took her hand. "I'm here." Clara looked at him, and for the first time in a long while, she believed those words. "Don't leave." Andrew tightened his grip on her hand. "I'm not going anywhere." Minutes passed, then an hour. The waiting became unbearable. Every second felt heavy. Every door that opened made his heart stop. Then the doctor came out. Andrew stood up immediately. "Doctor, how is she?" The doctor took a deep breath. "The situation is delicate, but we have managed to stabilize her." Andrew closed his eyes for a moment. "And the baby?" The doctor looked at him. Silence. 1 second. 2. 3. "For now, the baby is still with us." Those words were like air to a man who had been drowning for years. Andrew covered his face with his hand. Tears began to fall. He looked up toward the ceiling of the hallway and whispered, "Thank you, Loa. And at this moment I want to speak directly to you, because maybe this story did not reach your ears by accident. If you have made it this far, subscribe to the YouTube channel right now. Do it now. Don't leave it for later. Because what is coming next in this story may touch a part of your life that you did not even know was wounded. Seriously, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and stay until the end, because what is about to happen may change the way you understand faith. Let's continue. The doctor allowed them to go in. Clara was lying in bed, a little calmer. Andrew sat beside her. He said nothing. He simply held her hand. After a few seconds, Clara said something that left him still. "While I was in the ambulance, I thought we were losing the baby." Andrew clenched his jaw. "Don't say that." She turned her face toward him, and in that moment I understood something. Silence. God is giving you one last chance. Those words were direct, no softness, like an arrow to the heart. Andrew lowered his gaze. Yes, he knew it. And just as he was about to answer, his phone vibrated. A message. It was from his former business partner. It said only, "Tomorrow first thing in the morning, we have a multi-million-dollar offer to recover the company. You cannot miss it. Andrew stood there staring at the screen. The message seemed to burn in his hands. Multi-million-dollar offer. For years, those 2 words would have been enough to make him forget everything else. But that night was different. He lifted his eyes and looked at Clara, lying there with a pale face, one hand resting over her belly. His heart tightened. There was the real answer. Not in a meeting, not in a number, not in a contract. In that hospital room. In his wife, in his child, in the opportunity God was giving him. And yet, the battle began inside him. One voice whispered, "This is your chance to fix everything." Another, much deeper voice whispered back, "Don't lose what truly matters again." Andrew stepped out into the hallway. He leaned against the wall and closed his eyes. For the first time, he did not search for a solution in his own mind. He searched for direction in God. "Lord, speak to me." Silence, but not an empty silence. It was as if something inside him was beginning to come into order. He remembered the verse from the night before. "Seek first the kingdom of God." Matthew 6:33. First. That word drove deep into him once more. Suddenly he understood that the real test was not money, it was priority. Who would come first? God, his family, or the same old idol, success? He returned to the room. Clara slowly opened her eyes. "What is it?" Andrew showed her the message. She read it in silence. She said nothing for a few seconds. Then she looked straight at him. "Are you going?" Andrew remained silent. The question was not simple. This was not just a meeting. It was his old life calling him back. It was the same door he had chosen so many times before. Clara spoke with a soft but firm voice. "Andrew, I can't decide for you, but I can tell you one thing." He looked at her. "Tonight I understood that the Lord is not taking things away from you. He is showing you what truly matters." Those words made him lower his gaze. Yes, that was it. He had spent years chasing what was urgent while forgetting what was eternal. He moved closer to the bed and took her hand. "I don't want to become the same man again." Clara tightened her fingers around his. "Then tomorrow, don't decide from fear, decide from faith." That sentence stayed echoing inside him. Not from fear, not from the need to control, not from anxiety, from faith. The next morning his phone rang again. It was his business partner. He answered. The voice on the other side sounded rushed. "Andrew, I need you here right now. The investor is here and he will not wait." Andrew looked at Clara. Her medical appointment was in less than half an hour. A heavy silence filled the room. His partner insisted. "We're talking about millions. This could be the opportunity of your life." Andrew closed his eyes. No, this was not the opportunity of his life. The opportunity of his life was right in front of him. His family, his faith, his return to God. He took a deep breath and answered, "I'm not going." Complete silence on the other side. "What? I have spent too much time chasing the wrong things." His voice grew stronger. "Today I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be." He hung up, and in that moment he felt something strange, as if an invisible chain had just broken. But at that exact moment, the phone vibrated again. A new message. Unknown number. Only one sentence. "You made the right decision." But the real test is not over yet. Andrew felt a chill run down his spine. He looked at the message once more. The real test is not over yet. He slowly slipped the phone back into his pocket. For a moment he wanted to believe everything was over with that decision, that by choosing his family, the storm had finally passed. But deep down, he knew God was not only changing his circumstances, he was transforming his heart. And that always takes longer. Clara's medical appointment began a few minutes later. Andrew stayed right beside her, holding her hand. The silence in the examination room was almost unbearable. The doctor reviewed the results. His expression suddenly became serious. Andrew felt his chest tighten. "Doctor, is something wrong?" The doctor slowly placed the reports on the desk. "We need to run more tests." Clara looked at him with fear. "Why?" The doctor took a deep breath. "We've detected something we do not like." Those words fell like a stone. Andrew felt the world stop again. "Is the baby okay?" Silence. 1 second. 2. "We can't confirm that yet." Clara lowered her head. Tears began to roll down her cheeks. Andrew felt a brutal sense of helplessness. Everything inside him wanted to find an immediate solution. But this time there were no contracts, no money, no phone calls he could make. Only one thing remained: faith. They left the consultation room in silence. In the hallway, Clara broke down. Andrew held her tightly. "You are not alone." She rested her head against his chest. "I'm scared." He closed his eyes. "Me too." And for the first time, instead of hiding it, he said it. He did not pretend to be strong. He did not hide behind the image of the man who can always handle everything. He simply broke. That night, when they returned home, Andrew found something unexpected. On the table in the living room, there was a package. No sender, no name, only a note. "Open this when you feel like you can't take anymore." He picked it up, looked at Clara. "Did you leave this here?" She shook her head. Andrew slowly opened it. Inside was a book. The moment he saw it, he froze. The cover read, 30 days to renew your faith. He held it in silence. A lump formed in his throat. It was exactly the message his soul needed. He opened it at random. His eyes went straight to a reflection. There are moments when God does not calm the storm. He calms your heart in the middle of it. There are moments when God does not calm the storm. He calms your heart in the middle of it. Andrew took a deep breath. That sentence held him up. He kept reading. "Do not fear, for I am with you." Isaiah 41:10. Clara stepped closer and read beside him. Her eyes filled with tears. "We needed this." Andrew nodded. "Yes, more than ever. Not an instant solution, but spiritual guidance. A path so they would not lose themselves again." They spent the night reading together, praying, crying. It had been years since they had shared a moment like this. For the first time, the house no longer felt filled with noise. It felt filled with presence. But in the middle of the night, just as Andrew was about to fall asleep, the phone rang. It was the hospital. He answered immediately. The voice on the other side made him sit upright in bed. "Mr. Andrew, you need to come right now." His heart dropped. What happened? The answer left him frozen. "We have a serious complication, and we need you to make an urgent decision." Andrew felt the air leave his lungs. What decision? The voice on the other side spoke urgently. "We need to intervene immediately. Please come to the hospital right away." Nothing else needed to be said. Clara was already sitting up in bed the moment she saw Andrew's face. "What's happening?" He swallowed hard. "We have to go now." The drive was filled with silence and fear. The city lights passed quickly across the windshield, but inside the car time seemed to have stopped. Andrew gripped the steering wheel tightly. Inside, he kept repeating a prayer almost without realizing it. "Lord, don't leave us, don't leave us." When they arrived, the doctor met them at the emergency entrance. His expression was serious, too serious. He led them into a private room. "We need to be honest with you." Clara took Andrew's hand. The doctor continued. "There is a complication that is putting the pregnancy at risk." Andrew felt his throat close. "My child? We are doing everything possible." Silence. Heavy. Cold. Sharp. "But we need your authorization to proceed with immediate intervention." Clara broke down in tears. Andrew wrapped his arms around her. Inside, everything felt like it was shaking again. But this time he was not alone. He looked up toward the ceiling of the hallway and closed his eyes. "Lord, you know I can't carry this." And in that moment, he remembered a line from the devotional. When your strength ends, the hand of God begins to move. He felt something different. It was not total certainty. It was a strange peace in the middle of fear. He looked at Clara. "We are going to trust." She nodded with tears in her eyes. They signed the papers. The doors to the operating room closed. Andrew was left alone in the waiting room. Alone, like that night when he thought he had lost everything. But now he was not the same man. He took the book in his hands. Yes, he had brought it with him. 30 days to renew your faith. He opened it. The page for the day was marked with a red ribbon. He read in a low voice, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. Still. That word felt almost impossible in that moment. But he understood something. For years he had wanted to solve everything, move everything, control everything. Now he could do nothing. Only trust. Only surrender. Only let God be God. The hours began to pass. Every minute felt eternal. Then he saw the old man from the church walking in. Andrew stood up immediately. "How did you know I was here?" The man looked at him calmly. "Because the test is not over yet." Those words made his heart beat faster. "Is everything going to be okay?" The old man did not answer directly. He stepped closer and said in a low voice, "Sometimes God allows you to reach your limit to show you that your real battle was never financial." Andrew looked at him in silence. Then what was it? The old man held his gaze. "Your battle was deciding whether you would keep believing that human effort can do everything, or whether you would finally understand that without God, there is nothing." Silence. Deep. True. And at that exact moment, the operating room door opened. The doctor stepped out. The expression on his face made Andrew's heart stop. Andrew stood up so fast the chair almost fell behind him. The entire hallway seemed to shrink. Only the doctor's face existed in that moment. Only the answer that was about to come. "Doctor." His voice barely came out. "How are they?" The doctor took a deep breath. For a second he said nothing. And that silence was worse than any words. Finally he looked up. The procedure went well. Andrew felt his legs nearly give out. He placed a hand on his chest. "And Clara? And the baby?" The doctor slowly nodded. "Both are stable." Those words washed over him like water in the middle of a desert. He closed his eyes. Tears began to fall without restraint. "Thank you, God. Thank you." For the first time, it was not just something people say. It was truth rising from the deepest part of his soul. The old man, still standing beside him, spoke softly. Today, more than one life was saved. Andrew looked at him. "What do you mean?" The man held his gaze. "Today, yours began to heal." Those words left him in silence. Because they were true. Something inside him was no longer the same. The fear was still there. The uncertainty too. But something had been reborn. Faith. A little while later, they allowed him into the room. Clara was exhausted, but awake. The moment she saw him, she gave a weak smile. Andrew walked over and kissed her forehead. "We're okay." She squeezed his hand. God did not let go of us. That sentence filled the room with something difficult to explain. Peace. Not a shallow peace. A deep one. The kind that comes when someone reaches the edge and discovers that God was already there. They sat in silence for a few minutes, just looking at each other, just breathing relief. Then Clara spoke. "Andrew, I need to tell you something." He looked at her. "Tell me." She tightened her hold on his hand. "Last night, when I thought we were losing the baby, I made a promise to God." Silence. "I told him that if he gave us this chance, I never wanted us to live the way we used to again." Andrew lowered his gaze. "Neither do I," Clara continued. "I want a family with God at the center." That sentence went straight through him, because he understood that this was the real rebuilding, not the company, Not the money, not the reputation, the home, the faith, the presence of the Lord. Andrew slowly nodded. We're going to do it. And as soon as he said those words, his phone began to vibrate again. He looked at it. It was his former business partner. A voice message. He played it. The voice sounded nervous. Andrew, you need to hear me. The investor has disappeared. There are serious legal issues, and several financial irregularities have come to light. If you had come yesterday, you would be caught up in this. Andrew's heart started racing. He looked toward the doorway. The old man was gone. He had disappeared from the hallway. Andrew quickly stepped outside to look for him. Nothing. No sign of him. He returned to the room in silence. And then he understood something that made him tremble. God had not only brought him back, he had protected him from a much greater fall. He looked at Clara, then at the book on the table. 30 days to renew your faith. And he felt with complete clarity that this was not the end. Because right beneath the book, there was a note that had not been there before. Only one sentence. The final test has not yet arrived. Andrew took the note with trembling hands. He read it slowly. Then once more, the final test has not yet arrived. A chill ran down his spine. He looked at Clara. Did you put this here? She slowly shook her head. No. Silence filled the room. For a few seconds, neither of them spoke. Andrew took the note with trembling hands. He read it slowly. Then once more, the final test has not yet arrived. A chill ran down his spine. He looked at Clara. Did you put this here? She slowly shook her head. No. Silence filled the room. For a few seconds, neither of them spoke. Clara watched him with concern. I don't want you to fall back into the same thing. Those words were direct. Andrew moved closer and held her hand. I'm not going for money. He paused. I feel like I need to close something. Clara looked at him carefully, as if she were trying to see whether the man standing before her was truly different. And yes. Go, she finally said, but come back. Andrew nodded. I'm coming back. He left the hospital while the sky was beginning to brighten. The city was still asleep. He drove in silence. Every red light seemed to give him time to think. He was not going to recover a business. He was going to face the man he used to be. When he arrived at the building, it was almost empty. He walked upstairs slowly. Every step through those stairs seemed to carry years of anxiety, pride, and obsession. He opened the door to his old office. Everything was dim. The light of dawn came in through the windows. And then he saw it. On the desk, there was a box. Black. No name. He stepped closer, opened it. Inside, he found several documents, contracts, printed emails, bank records. His face changed. They were proof. Proof that his former partner had been diverting money for months and using the company for illegal operations. Andrew felt a brutal jolt inside him. If he had attended that meeting, he would have been tied to all of it. He slowly sat down in the chair. Lord, now he understood. God had not only moved him away, he had saved him. He picked up one of the documents. On the first page, there was a handwritten sentence. What you called loss was protection. He went completely still. That sentence seemed to put every piece into place. The fall of the company, the bank's call, the loss of the investor, everything. It had not been abandonment, it had been mercy. He remembered the verse, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for peace and not for evil." Jeremiah 29:11. For the first time in a long while, he smiled through tears. Not because everything was solved, but because he was beginning to understand. Sometimes God breaks the path you have chosen in order to save you from the abyss you could not yet see. And just as he was gathering the documents, he heard footsteps behind him. He turned around. It was his former business partner. His face was pale, his shirt wrinkled, his eyes full of panic. Andrew, you shouldn't be here. That sentence did not sound like surprise, it sounded like a threat. Andrew slowly stood up. So it's true. The man swallowed hard. You don't understand anything. I understand enough. He raised the papers. You've been sinking the company for months. His partner stepped forward. Give me that. Silence. Tense. Heavy. Then Andrew said something that marked the definitive change in him. Before I would have fought to save this company. Today I'm going to fight to save my soul and my family. The other man clenched his jaw. You have no idea what you're getting into. Andrew looked straight at him. No, you have no idea where God has brought me from. And at that exact moment, the phone rang. It was the hospital. The voice on the other side made his heart freeze all over again. Mr. Andrew, Clara has disappeared from her room. Andrew felt his entire body go cold. What do you mean she disappeared? The voice on the other side sounded nervous. A few minutes ago she was resting. The nurse went back in, and she was gone. We can't find her mother either. His heart started pounding hard in his chest. I'm on my way. He hung up without even looking at his former business partner. The documents were still in his hand. For a second, he hesitated. Before, he would have chosen to stay, finish the problem at the company, secure the evidence, call the police. But not anymore. Without saying a word, he ran out. Behind him, he heard his partner shout, Andrew, if you walk out with that, you'll regret it. He did not answer. He just kept going, because for the first time, he knew clearly what came first. Not the business, not the money, not pride, his family and God. During the drive to the hospital, his mind began to fill with dark thoughts. What had happened? Was Clara okay? What about the baby? He tightened his grip on the steering wheel. Lord, don't let me arrive too late again. That sentence came from the deepest part of him. He was not only talking about the hospital, he was talking about years. Years of arriving too late to his home. Years of arriving too late to faith. Years of arriving too late to what truly mattered. When he arrived, he ran down the hallway. The nurse came toward him. We've been looking for her. Where is she? The woman looked at him strangely. Your wife left this for you. She handed him a folded note. Andrew opened it with trembling hands. Go up to the rooftop. His heart lurched. He did not wait. He ran up the stairs almost without breathing. Every step felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. When he opened the rooftop door, the cold wind hit his face. And there was Clara standing there looking at the sunrise. Her mother stood a few feet away in silence. Andrew immediately rushed toward her. Clara, what are you doing here? You scared me. She slowly turned around. Her eyes were filled with tears, but they were not tears of fear. There was something different. Peace. A strange peace. I needed to talk to you where we could see the sky. That sentence left him still. Clara stepped closer. She took his hand and placed it over her belly. Last night, while you were downstairs, I prayed. Andrew looked at her in silence, and I felt something very strongly. She paused. I felt that God was telling me our life cannot go back to the way it was. The wind gently moved her hair. The sunrise was beginning to color the sky. Andrew swallowed hard. I don't want it to go back either. Clara held his gaze. Then we need to leave behind much more than the company. Silence. What do you mean? She took a deep breath. This city. Andrew frowned. What? We need to start over. Those words hung between them. A place where we can heal. Where God is at the center. Where our children can grow up in peace. Andrew lowered his eyes. At another time he would have thought about losses, prestige, opportunities. But now all he felt was one truth piercing through his soul. Sometimes God is not taking away, He is repositioning you. Clara pulled something out of her pocket. A small card from the devotional. 30 days to renew your faith. On the back there was a sentence. There are places you must leave so that God can show you the destination He prepared for you. Andrew lifted his eyes, and just as he was about to answer, the phone rang again. Private number. He answered. The voice on the other side made him go completely still. Andrew, it's your father. Silence. Cold. Impossible. Because his father had been dead for more than 10 years, Andrew felt his heart pounding in his throat. He looked at the screen. Private number. No name. No record. The voice came again. Andrew, listen carefully, because you do not have much time. His blood ran cold. It was his father's voice. The same tone. The same calm strength. The same way he said his name. Clara looked at him with concern. Who is it? Andrew raised his hand, asking for silence. This can't be. The voice continued. Son, do not ask how, just listen. The wind on the rooftop seemed to stop. Even the air felt different. Everything that has happened was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to pull you away from the path that would have made you lose everything. Andrew felt his eyes fill with tears, because those words sounded exactly like something his father would have said. Look inside the black box. There is one last page. His heart skipped a beat. The box, the office, the documents, the call ended, absolute silence. Andrew stood there motionless. Clara looked at him. What's wrong? He took a deep breath. We need to go back to the office. Clara frowned. Right now? Andrew nodded. Yes, I feel like everything ends there. They went down quickly. During the drive, Andrew did not say a word. He could only hear the voice, his father's voice. He could not explain it. He did not know whether it was a miracle, a sign, or something beyond all logic. But one thing he knew for sure. God was not finished with him. When they arrived at the building, they found the office door half open. That made his heart race. He stepped inside. Everything was silent. The soft morning light came through the large windows. The black box was still on the desk. He walked closer, opened it. Beneath the documents, where there had been nothing before, he found a folded sheet of paper. He opened it slowly. It had only one verse. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, says the Lord. Isaiah 55:8. Underneath it, there was a handwritten sentence. The ruin you feared was the doorway to your calling. Andrew stood completely still. His calling. He no longer only understood the fall. He was beginning to understand the purpose. Everything he had lived through. The anxiety, the loss, the sickness, the threat of losing his family. All of it had brought him to the same point, coming back to God. Clara took the paper and read it in silence. Andrew. He looked up. I think God wants you to share your story. Those words struck deep inside him, because in that moment, he remembered how many people he had seen living exactly the way he had. Exhausted. Chasing goals. Building success on the outside while collapsing within. Maybe that's why all this happened, he whispered. Clara nodded. So others don't have to fall as far. Andrew looked at the devotional he was still carrying. 30 days to renew your faith. He held it tightly. Yes, something much greater was being born. A message, a mission, a testimony that could reach those who today feel exactly the way he once did. But just then, they heard sirens below. Andrew looked out the window. Police, ambulances, several officers entering the building. His former business partner had been arrested. Clara looked at him. God got you out just in time. Andrew lowered his eyes and whispered, It wasn't luck, it was mercy. And just as he was about to leave, he found one last note beneath the keyboard on the desk. It said only one sentence. What begins tomorrow will change not only your life, but the lives of thousands. His heart skipped a beat, because he could feel it. The real story had not yet reached its highest point. The next morning, Andrew did not go to the office. He did not go to the bank. He did not go to any meeting. He went to church. The same church he had stopped entering years ago because he didn't have time. What irony. He had found time for everything except God. And now he finally understood that this was exactly why everything had become empty. He walked in quietly. The morning light fell across the wooden pews. Clara walked beside him, one hand resting over her belly. Their children walked ahead, holding their grandmother's hands. That image filled his eyes with tears. This was wealth. This was blessing. This was what he had almost lost while chasing what could never save his soul. They sat in the front row. Andrew bowed his head, and for the first time in many years, he did not ask for success. He did not ask for money. He did not ask for open doors. He simply said, "Lord, I never want you to be last in my life again." Silence, a silence full of presence. And in that moment, he understood the sentence that had marked his entire story. Without God, there is nothing, no matter how hard you try, because you can build companies, you can gain recognition, you can achieve goals, but if you lose peace, faith, and your family, what have you truly gained? He remembered another verse that seemed to summarize everything he had lived through. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Mark 8:36. Those words went straight through him. Yes, that was exactly what he had been doing, gaining the world while losing his soul. When the prayer ended, the pastor walked toward him. He looked at him calmly. "God did not bring you back only to restore you." Andrew looked up. "Then why?" The pastor smiled. "So that your story can lift others." Those words confirmed what he had been feeling for hours. His fall had a purpose. His testimony had direction. His pain had not been wasted. And right now, I want to speak directly to you. If you have made it to this part of the story, subscribe to the YouTube channel right now. Do it now. Don't leave it for later. Because this is not just a story to listen to. It is a series that can touch lives, restore homes, and bring faith back to those who are tired of fighting alone. I'm telling you seriously, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and stay with us for what is coming next, because what follows will go even deeper. Andrew walked out of the church with a peace he could not remember ever feeling before. The sky was clear. For the first time, the future did not fill him with anxiety. It filled him with purpose. But just as he was about to get into the car, his phone rang. Private number. He froze. He answered. The voice on the other side made him stand completely still. "Andrew, now you know why you lost everything." Silence. It was his father's voice again, the same voice. "Now you must prepare to understand why God is about to give you far more than you ever imagined." The call ended. Andrew stood there motionless. He looked at Clara. He looked at the sky, and he felt it clearly. This was not an ending. It was the beginning of something much greater, because there are stories that end with a lesson, and there are others that have only just opened the door to a new series. The end. For now.